Hello, my lovely. You didn't get to where you are in your business by doing shit the way that everybody else does. And you know that what got you to where you are now is not going to get you to where you want to be. And if you are listening to this podcast, it's because you want to be the go-to for what you do better than anyone else. Your brilliance is the niche. Being you, that bold, unfuckwithable presence that you've secretly been craving to set free, she is in there. And that means you will have to burn some old bridges down. And attracting your people will also repel those who are not for you. Fucking hooray. Becoming a force of nature business and brand means no more Miss People Pleaser, no more hiding your turbo brain, no more dimming down jack shit. And if you have ever been told to tone it down as a woman with ADHD, it's time to tone your shit all the way the fuck back up. That is how you create unstoppable momentum in your business and visibility that is something you've been avoiding, but that you truly want. This podcast is about stepping into your upgrade, watering down anything, never change the fucking world. You were not born to be forgettable. And as one of my all-time favorite quotes says, well-behaved women rarely make history, and nothing about you or me is well-behaved, at least not anymore. In today's episode, I am bringing you part 2 of the ecosystem talk. And this one is personal because now I'm going to walk you through my own business ecosystem where I show up to market my business. Before I show you where it is now, I will show you where it started, because if I just showed you the current version, it would feel out of reach. And I don't do that. I would never leave you hanging like that. Okay. One last thing before we continue. Now that you found me, go over to Instagram and give me a follow at Carry Out Loud to stay in touch. Once you do that, subscribe to the podcast, and you've officially joined my girl gang, the Feral Women's Club. I got you. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneur, the podcast for my fellow feral online coaches with ADHD who refuse to play by the fucking rules. My name is Carrie. I am your host. I am the chief weirdo of Carry Out Loud. And if you are new here, welcome. I am so glad you found me. Now that you have, stick around, follow, and subscribe to get the little push notification reminder every week. And if you are here because you are so done feeling behind when you aren't, and you are ready to find that clear business growth path that your body and your ADHD brain are both like, yes, to, you're in the right place. I will definitely brainwash you into believing in yourself if you stick around long enough. That is a promise. Here's the core of what I do. I know that you crave to making an impact. I want you to create that ripple effect in the world your way and without burning out. Because I've helped women out of burnout come out of the other side. And I can say, I can help you avoid it. Or at least see the signs when it's coming and like pull the freaking e-brake, right? When I see a woman come into my universe who's on the brink of burnout, who doesn't trust herself because she had a diagnosis later in life, overwhelmed with an overcomplicated business that doesn't make any sense because it's taped together with all these normie strategies that didn't really work for her brain. And then I see the issue. I show her and she sees that not only can she do it differently, but it's absolutely doable, that it's real. I know how life-altering that is. I've seen it in real time many, many times. And I'm here to tell you what I tell my clients. You're an Apple, and normie coaches keep trying to hand you an Android operating system, and you need Apple iOS. And I have that. I am literally designed, as in I'm an emotional 3-5 manifesting generator and a Cancer with a shit ton of water placements. So I know I'm here to help you do 2 big things. One is mindset. One is actual strategy. One is closing that self-trust gap after being told you were wrong for so many years, that your gut instincts were wrong and you just believed that and they weren't wrong. I mean, that would make anyone stop trusting themselves. That is what late diagnosis or late identification can do. And we're undoing that here. So the other thing is helping you, once you have that trust, really simplify for growth so that that growth is sustainable. It's on a foundation that is solid. You know you can carry it. It evolves and grows with you. And I need you to see that a fellow feral ADHD ass human who is sweary and raw and unfiltered and gritty, saying all the inside things out loud, can have success. I want you to understand it is possible for you to succeed big time. So let's talk shop, shall we? Let me take you back to May 2nd, 2022. That's when I hit record on the podcast for the first time. I remember looking at the microphone. If you are watching on YouTube, here it is. I kept her, old Nelly, because I have so many episodes in that microphone. So I kept it. I don't know. Should I dip it in gold? And when I hit record and I was in front of that microphone, I was in my room on the floor up against the window with a pillow because that's what they told me to do to like not have the reverberation. And I remember looking at the microphone going, are you going to go or am I going to go? Meaning like I thought the microphone would magically ask me a question so I could answer it. I didn't. So I just hit record for that first time. And at the end of the day, I did it because I thought, why not? I didn't have a big old plan. I didn't have a strategy. I just started. I just got started, right? Because I knew there were things that I wanted to say in a different way than I could do on shorter form. And so that's why the podcast has had 3 different names. It started as Women Out Loud in episodes 1 through 39. Then it became The Anxious Entrepreneur because I thought I had anxiety and depression. A very common misdiagnosis for ADHD women, by the way. You get anxious and depressed because we have undiagnosed ADHD and we are not getting the help we need. That's a topic for another day, right? But The Anxious Entrepreneur was episodes 40 through 58. And then it became what you're listening to now, the ADHD Entrepreneur. And that's from episode 59 on. And the most beautiful, unexpected thing, this is why I tell people, just start. My ADHD diagnosis, what happened on March 6, 2023, is captured on this podcast in real time, me processing it in real freaking time. I didn't plan that. I didn't know what was about to happen. But if you go back and listen, you can literally hear me figure out who I am and why I do what I do. All in here. There was a time where I considered taking out the episodes up to 59, and I'm like, fuck that. I want you to see the full, what it looks like from there to here. That is one of the most treasured things about the show, by the way, is I have allowed this to evolve. I didn't blow it up or start over. I let it become what it was meant to. Again, the same lesson, right? So let's talk about the Neurospicy Sisterhood specifically. That's my mastermind. April 4th, 2024, I was in the tub. Don't picture it. Because that's where all the good ideas come from. I have all those water placements. I'm a water baby. I love being in water. I love being around water. I love hearing water. I love smelling water. I love listening to water, right? And so that is where my good ideas can come from. And I was thinking about how I wanted to help more women beyond just one-on-one capacity. And the idea hit me to have office hours once a week, but specifically for ADHD entrepreneurs where they could come in and ask me anything. I love live coaching. I love hot seat coaching. I love that ability to give you something to utilize in the moment that is going to make a difference. That's like my sweet spot. And so I named it the ADHD Entrepreneur Office Hours. I created a graphic in the car on the way to the concert. I still have the graphic. God, I should pull that out. I posted it in stories before I had anything figured out. I had nothing. I just knew I was going to do it. And I put it out there in the universe so that I wouldn't not do it. That was the start. And it was a membership. So at first it was a membership and it evolved because of the human beings who came in. Not only came in, but they stayed. I became a better coach. They were longer term clients. They were having better results. I was helping them in a deeper way. Then I brought in the Telegram chat and all of the women inside now talk with each other as well. That was another piece. And in Telegram, they have access to me several days a week for, in real time feedback within 24 hours because nothing's a fucking emergency. And my OBM Brooke actually has been there from almost the beginning. and she's seen that change too. So it's been really fun to evolve and to have somebody who's been through that evolution with me. Actually, there's two. Another friend of mine named Sarah, who's funny enough, also a client. So slowly over time, I realized the quality of the women inside were incredible. And I was trying to create a mastermind. And I kept trying to create this mastermind. And one day I was like, dude, you have your mastermind. What the fuck is wrong with you? You leave the women inside who are there, who've been with you all this time, and you add to this beautiful mix of incredible humans. Duh. Had I not had that moment in the bathtub where I just took my instinct and rolled with it and trusted that that was an instinct, a gut instinct, not me being feral or me being all over the place, but knowing, okay, if I want to grow my business one-on-one, I love one-on-one work. I still do one-on-one work because I fucking love it, but it's a lot more limited availability because my one-on-one is very hands-on. So I know I can only take two people. So I'm like, how am I going to now not, and before I wasn't only taking two people. I had a lot of appointments every week. Now I have two. It's fucking life changing. Okay. So, but that wasn't how it started. It evolved here and I let it. I didn't stop the evolution by overthinking. I just kept moving in the direction it was heading naturally. And it was a direction I wanted to go. Now, if something's evolving naturally and it's going in a direction you don't want to go, that's a different story. But if you know you're heading in the right direction in general, that's where refinement and discernment come in. Okay. So let me show you now what chaos looked like in my life and in my business, because I want you to also understand that this evolution took a lot of time and not a lot of time. Let me say that again. The evolution took me being open to allowing that, right? But before I decided to do this, it was chaos. My business was fucking chaos. All the time I felt like I was in chaos. Nobody can live that way. You might be able to like wing it for a while, but I am telling you, there will be a point where you cannot anymore. Your feet will plant in the ground, you will fall forward, and you will face plant. And I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm saying that because I burned down two businesses that way, and I don't want that for you. So please hear me out. Okay. What chaotic looked like to me, see if any of this sounds familiar. Too many clients at low price points, meaning you have evolved and your price points haven't. You feel like you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off 7 days a week, day to night. You do not have time for anything else. You feel overwhelmed. I used to take calls on weekends even. Not anymore. That's a hell no. But back then, I thought that's what I needed to do. Now, we've all been there, either at the beginning or we've evolved past that and we stay there longer than we need to be because we have fear of investing in ourselves and in our business, or fear of investing again in the wrong person, somebody who doesn't understand your brain or your business, fear that it won't work, fear that you're too much, fear that it's scattered, fear that you're too ADHD, right? Until we finally say, fuck this, I am done, and ask for help. We literally have to get to, I'm done, before we will change. I know it can be so fucking frustrating. I know, but there will come a point where you know what you're doing is not sustainable. And when that happens, you have a choice and you have to make a choice. You could keep going. Well, I guess you have three choices. You could keep going the way you are. Maybe you can quit, stop, let it go. You could, or you can ask for help, whatever that looks like for you, and stop thinking that asking for help is some personal or moral failure. Because if you think Oprah is answering her emails, think again. She's running a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? So I just want to remind you of that. When you ask for help, you can keep refining. You can listen to your clients in real time as you're coaching them. You can find the through lines in those needs, and you can fold that into what you have. And you can keep showing up and finding the things you love, and the things that light you up, and the things you love and light you up are the things you want to get paid for. Or you can keep creating programs nobody wants. I did that. A lot. I kept tossing out idea after idea instead of taking what I'm truly best at and creating the foundations of my recurring revenue. going all in on that, and then doing what I call for funsies offers when my brain wants to play. Those are like cash injection offers. If you want to, take one of those ideas and it's along the lines of what you love sharing with your clients, it's like, why the fuck not, but I had no underlying message threading through any of my messaging. Now I do. Simplification and self-trust. Those are the keys to growth. You'll see in my content either my personal story, something about simplification, or something about self-trust as the underlying hum to everything I do and I share. And then my hill to die on, which you will see from time to time, is that late diagnosed and self-identified ADHD women in business can do whatever the fuck they put their minds to. They are the proof. I am the proof. We've always been capable. We just lack knowledge and understanding of a neurological differentiator in our brain. That's it. That's it. So let's talk about where I've landed. I am in year 5, and I want to note I was in year 5 before I started to feel like my website needed an upgrade. Year 5, because I was building my business and my credibility and my client base, and the website refresh is happening now, and I'm nervous and excited, but I earned this upgrade. I did not do this in year 1. I did not, because I put something together that was good enough where I could also get payment links, because at the end of the day, it's about conversations, not the website. But there does come a point where you do feel like, okay, I've really honed in on what I'm doing here. And you may want the additional exposure, the additional SEO, the funnels, those type of things. So it totally makes sense. But that is part of my ecosystem. That's where I market. That is getting the upgrade. Now, Instagram, I post content. I'm active in stories daily. That is my primary active marketing channel. Threads, I play with content and hooks there when I feel like it. It's a low pressure, like sandbox to play in, right? The podcast gets distributed everywhere through one site that pushes it out to all the platforms. One upload goes everywhere. YouTube, here's the key. I'm not handling this myself. My behind the scene Maven Brooke uploads long form video and short form video that I use for Instagram Reels that she also posts. Those go to YouTube. So if you hear me, I'm saying it's content I've already made, repurposing it to another platform. And here's just a little fun bonus for you. If you have a podcast, download your transcript, put it in ChatGPT, and tell it to help you make content out of it. That is like one of the easiest cheat codes you can have, is your fucking transcripts. Those are your own words, right? So use that, use it. It's a great little cheat code there. Now, you may think, holy shit, that's a lot of places, but think about it. I actively market in one place, Instagram, and my podcast. My podcast is not technically social media, right? But this is the other avenue, main avenue. Everything else is basically one piece of content being repurposed. That's it. That's the whole game for where I'm at now in my business. And I'm sure in a year from now, when I'm talking about where I'm at, it's going to be very different than where I am here, right? And the real takeaway that I want you to understand from this episode, from these 2 episodes, is this thing I need to drive home because this is the whole point of the last episode and this episode. There is no one way to run your business, to market it, to grow it. None. My one client leaned into her podcast because it was already working. It was already a strength she had. We didn't try to fix something she fucking didn't care about or hated. We doubled down on what she was already showing up in and made some tweaks that made the difference for her getting inquiries and clarity calls. That's her choice of how to talk with people to see if they're a fit. My other client leaned into her in-person presence by getting a space that she loves to fucking be in. And that energy shift changed how she shows up for her clients and her business growth. I mean, it's exponential for her, especially in the year of the fire horse, man. Buckle up, ladies and gents, because whoo, I don't know if you feel the energy, but it is fast and furious. So, but finally, I built mine. Bring it back around, Karen, like tangent. I built mine around my podcast and Instagram because that's what I love. That's where I show up consistently, right? So the question isn't what should my ecosystem look like? Where should I be showing up? What should I be doing? The question is, what do you love? What will you actually show up for regularly and consistently? What feels like you? Because that's the ecosystem you build. And yes, we have days and times in our business that are more stressful or frustrating or overwhelming. That's just called being a fucking human. And that can feel like a lot. But I will tell you the difference between 5 years ago and now is I do not spiral or swirl for too long. It is like a less than a 24-hour thing. And sometimes it's even shorter than that because I am really learning how to regulate my nervous system and have a business that keeps me a lot more fucking chill. And I know for a fact we would rather get our eye poked out with a hot fucking stick than ask for help. I know because I felt it. My clients, I feel them to their core when they go to hire me because they're like, oh, do I take this chance again? But then when they do and they see the difference just after the 90-minute phone call, like that's when the most of the transformation happens is in that 90-minute call because they finally see, oh, not only is business growth possible, it's doable for them. That changes a lot, a shit ton. So I want you to remember a few things. You've always been capable. You just needed knowledge, understanding, and you really need somebody who gets how your brain actually works. And if you are neurodivergent, have ADHD, OCD, any of these things, and you are not working with somebody who is similar to you, I highly, with so much love, recommend doing that because it makes all the difference in the world. If you're done feeling like you're walking uphill both ways in the snow, getting somebody who supports the brain you actually have will change your business. And it'll change your life in a lot of ways too. So that's a wrap on this two-parter. If this landed for you, share it with a business sister who needs to hear it. Leave a 5-star review. Come find me on Instagram at Carrie Out Loud. I want to know, what does your ecosystem look like? Where do you market? Where do you want to market? What does that look like? Drop it in my DMs. Like, for real. I am actually on the other side. I do love interacting on social media and talking to those of you who listen. So feel free to hop in there. And I'm not saying that as lip service, like I actually mean it. So with that, I'm going to end today's episode. If you are an online coach and you think or know you have ADHD, you know you want sustainable business growth that's long-term and do that in a way that you can evolve with, while of course making fuck you money while you're at it, because we want to have wealth of all kinds. Talk to me. Book your call. I got you. Since we like to know what comes next, once you book your free 30-minute call, you and I will chat on that call about you, your businesses, your goals. I'll tell you if I can help you or not. If I can't, I'll refer you. If I can, we'll go from there. And it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Get into my email universe by becoming an insider. My newsletter, The Frequency, is exclusively for fellow female founders, those feral women like that we are, who are coaches. If you think or know you have ADHD, this is for you. And until next week, I see you. I love you. I am fucking rooting for you always. Have the patience to let it evolve, because I'm telling you, it can be so much greater than you can possibly fucking imagine. And when it hits, it is like a miracle from the fucking universe. Okay? Okay. Stay feral. Okay? Bye. Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the ways to follow me. And of course, my goal is to find and help as many women with ADHD get away from the 9-to-5 grind, because it's just not designed for our neurospicy brilliance, and there are other ways to do life. So by subscribing, sharing, and giving a 5-star review, it helps other women find this podcast as well. And if there's an episode you really love, please feel free to take a screenshot and share it on your social and tag me in it so that I can thank you personally. Until next time, you spicy brained unicorn. Bye.